Tonight we are drinking Old Fitzgerald.
Let's see if 2 years make a difference.
Well, Frank, I'll let you start out talking about this since this is the bottle that he got lucky enough and won at the Joe Canals raffle.
Yes, I was. This was one of the ones I had my eye on, especially when I saw the price. Because if you've been following Old Fitzgerald, this 8-year is a pretty low age statement for the brand. So I think a lot of people, myself included, were not too happy about such a low age statement. But there wasn't a ton left, and for only $130, I figured it was the best one, right? You know, I don't want to have to pay any more for this.
Yeah.
And so we can try it out here, let you guys know if that extra 2 years from the 10-year we reviewed, does that really make a difference? Is this still good whiskey? You know, see if they were justified in releasing this.
Yeah, so we actually had, and with this whole thing, we actually had a very lucky session at the Joe Canals raffle.
Yeah.
We have a few bottles that are going to be in future videos. There's a lot of cool bottles, so, you know, shout out to Tony and Joe Canals again for putting on a great event. But I'm happy. I'm actually pretty happy that Frank picked this up because I don't think I ever would have bought this being at 8 years. So this will be, you know, an experiment, to say the least. Well, here we go. Frank's going to do the honors with this one.
I know, it might take me a second to...
Oh, it's fun cracking these bottles. I usually just twist it.
Just go for the quick...
Ooh, that was scary. Screw it.
See, I was never the kind to rip off a Band-Aid. I would slowly peel it off.
The back might still be attached. Yeah, these corks are like, they're so narrow and they get really fat at the bottom. Nice.
Yeah, you can probably see the way it curves out. It is a nice bottle, though. That's the other thing. It's really, like, the crystal topper. I like that.
Very nice.
Alrighty. Me first. So I'm a selfish,
ladies first.
greedy person.
As always, ladies first. No, Frank's not a lady.
You don't get any.
I don't get any.
You can just go somewhere else. I'll film the video myself.
I can drink this Caribou Crossing down here. I'd be just as happy with that.
You don't know that yet.
No.
You better not be.
No.
Otherwise, I wasted my money.
I feel like a lot of distilleries are doing this. They're producing lower age dated bourbons to try to show that, hey, we can put this stuff out. You know, part of me is like, oh, we're putting these lower age dated out there because it tastes just as good as the old stuff. Or is it them just like, hey, the demand for bourbon is so high, let's just push all this shit out and tell people that this is our plan.
Well, that's what I've been worried about for a while with a lot of brands, because everybody's doing so many more drops and special editions and whatever, and Heaven Hill is one of them. But consistently on the channel, after trying them, I've felt that they were worthwhile, right? Like, they started Bernheim, and it was like, is this going to actually be good, or are they just trying to get another release out? And it's like, no, it's actually good. So hopefully, that's kind of what I'm gunning for here, is that they don't seem to have as yet sacrificed on quality.
It does have that nice cherry butter, like a cherry buttery nose. There is some oak going on in there, but kind of get that it's a younger nose. You're getting that like younger, I mean, it's not like crazy young, but you can definitely a little bit of corn going on in there.
I haven't gotten the corn yet. I get like a nice like light toast and mostly like a cherry, like a bit of a bread.
You have very big cherry bread and butter notes for me. A little bit of caramel if you really bury it in there. Color's nice.
Yeah, that's the other, I mean, you know, compared to the 4, 5, 6 year stuff, 8 years isn't bad.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna, you know, you say young, you know, it's not.
Oh, no.
This isn't like mellow corn, you know. I will say it's a little light on the nose to me. Like, there's not a lot of ton of notes to grab at.
Yeah, I just get the good, you know, sweet wheat, if you will.
Sure, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's give it a try. First sip of the night.
Cheers.
Tell you what, for a lighter nose, I got a lot of flavor off that first sip.
Yeah.
That surprised me a lot. Yeah, I did get more complex taste than I thought I would. It was the first sip, so it's kind of hard, but
Yeah, I can never. The first sip is always more experience for me than anything else.
long finish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a subtle finish, but it is lasting a while.
I still got it.
I would call it almost, for me it's like a oaky wine.
Interesting.
Like a little bit of like grape to it,
Yep, I definitely get the grape.
and it's dry.
Dry like a Merlot for all you wine drinkers out there.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot of wine. The wines I've had, it has a, kind of a similar like dryness to it.
I think we have some exciting releases from Old Fitzgerald this year. I think we have like a 13-year coming out. That should be good. Maybe a 14-year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Red Label Old Fitzgerald coming at you.
Time for a second sip.
Time for a second sip. It starts out oily on the palate, but then it does get really dry.
Yeah, I would say the palate is nice, but on the finish it kind of dries you out a little.
Yep. It's actually like wood. It like tastes like you're licking wood.
Yeah.
Like I just licked a 2x4. But yeah, I get some nice, red fruits and vanillas and
Yeah, it's sweet.
caramels.
There's some on the tail end. It's definitely a nice smoky note. Like, I really like the level that it's at. I feel okay with what I paid for it. As far as the other Old Fitzgerald, I feel like that one was better.
We may or may not find out in this video. This talking about paying and what you paid, $130 for this. I don't think I would go much more over that.
No.
I think that's about the maximum I would pay. I think MSRP is maximum. I wouldn't go any higher. That's just me though. He might be like, this is worth $300.
No, so, I mean, as far as I'm thinking, $130 seems to me like a fair price for this. As far as, just thinking and comparing to other whiskeys at similar or surrounding price ranges, it's pretty good. Me personally, I'd put the limit at 150. Like if you have a similar palate to us, like if you were asking me like, hey, I can get a hold of this, what should I pay? I would probably not more than 150.
$149.99. If you walked into Joe Canals tomorrow, even after buying this already, and you saw it on the shelf for $149.99, I don't think you could say no. To see an Old Fitzgerald on the shelf, it's just like one of those things. But
yeah, I
secondary is like $300-$400. I couldn't do that.
That's crazy town,
Yeah.
and that's again part of the reason why I saw it at 130. I was like, wow.
After all said and done, this is an 8-year bottled and bond wheat bourbon. Right?
Yeah.
Just with Old Fitzgerald on the front of it. Now, Old Fitzgerald is quite the guy. I mean, he's had some flavorful stuff in the past, and it's a beautiful bottle. But just know what you're getting with it. You are getting an 8-year age-stated, 100 proof bottled and bond wheated bourbon.
Yeah, I think there's definitely this is it's a very nice whiskey. I'm curious because I kind of feel like there is. It almost might be more worth your while to go out and get a larceny barrel proof.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I got a few of them. I definitely feel the same way.
Just as far as actually drinking the whiskey, like this is nice, and I'm not upset that I have it. Right? It's if you collect whiskey, you want some variety. But as far as flavors, I know on first crack there have definitely been some larceny barrel proofs that because it's a barrel proof drink, it definitely wows me a lot more than this. This is much more subdued because it's only 100 proof.
Yeah, of course, with the larceny, you don't get the fancy bottle that everybody wants.
Yeah,
Like after you finish this will make a really cool decanter. For
yeah,
anything you want to put in it. Um,
yeah. It's so many. I think it's worth the 130. Um, but as far as like stuff that I'd like to drink a lot, the Larceny Barrel Proof hits better.
well, let's get one more sip of this
Yeah, we'll get one more and we'll give the
8 year.
final judgment.
Yeah, man, these glasses are ringing good tonight. I definitely think this is good, but I wish that they would set a minimum, like no less than 10-year age stated Old Fitzgerald. Um, it is still good. It is still Old Fitzgerald. I'm happy that they lowered the MSRP to 130 for this. Because I think that's fair. I don't think it would be fair for them to keep their MSRPs high, like it's a higher age stated. They change it with the age, so that's props to them for that. That last one, I got that real Heaven Hill nuttiness on it.
Yeah,
Almost
I was gonna say that was the best sip so far.
yeah,
So
like an almondy.
I don't know how we handle that. I like for something like this to crack it on the channel. Feels a little more special. Unfortunately, you don't get to let it open up. So maybe at some point I'll leave a comment below if we try it again. A month from now or something, and we'll see. Has our opinion changed?
Yeah. See where we're at.
Yeah, because that was a nice sip there.
Yeah, the last sip was definitely better. I think as every sip gets better throughout the night, but also as we have experienced, there is such thing as a neck pour, and the more it breathes out, the better it gets. Like I am expecting, we haven't had this guy in a while. The 10-year,
Yeah.
he'll probably taste pretty good. You want some of this?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Do you want to rinse first?
No, we're going bare bones here. Well, as I'm getting this ready, Old Fitzgerald 10-year, what would you rate this out of 10, Frank? Your 8-year. I'll let you go first. I already know what I would rate it.
I'm teetering a little back and forth in my head on what I would rate it. I think I'd give it a 9. I was thinking about giving it the 8 because it's the 8-year and haha. But I think 9 feels right. I think there's definitely a lot better stuff out there, but at 130, you really can't beat it. That's why going into the raffle, I kind of had an idea of what would be there. I didn't know the prices, and so I saw this on there, and it wasn't initially on my radar because it's only an 8-year, and I figured it would be 200 or 300. And I saw it at 130, and I said, well, that's actually for something that is a unique release that is going to be hard to find anywhere else. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I was actually, it's funny, you were going between an 8 and a 9. I gave it the 8.5.
Okay.
I was there. I am partial to higher age stated stuff, but what really kept it at its high point was the MSRP price of $130. If MSRP was high, that number would tank drastically very quickly.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, you go to 140 now. I'm at a 7.5, 150, 6.5. I'd go down really, really quickly. I do still think it's a solid product out of Heaven Hill. I still really like them. They're they're not up and coming, but they're up and coming in my books of
Sure.
whiskeys. I really think they have some really cool limited releases that, Buffalo Trace, everybody from Buffalo Trace, BTAC and Pappy, that's their only thing. That's what they want to look forward. Heaven Hill, you got Old Fitz, you got William Heaven Hills, you got Parker's Heritage. You got all this cool, like, experimental stuff that comes out. So I think they do a really good job with their releases and keeping people interested. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10. I think that's where I'm at for the Old Fitzgerald 8-year. It is good. I would say it's like maybe like B plus to A minus tier if I were to give it a letter grade.
Yeah, that's the real test is, does 2 years make a difference?
Yes.
So this now is the 10-year Old Fitz.
Just knock him out of the way. Put this guy over here. Definitely getting more chocolatey notes on the nose.
Not as much of that fruity cherry thing.
Yeah, it's more like it'd be like a stone fruit, like a plum chocolate.
That'll be what's really interesting is to go back to the other one. Because we did a video on this and see if we say the same thing.
Right.
See if you can catch us in our lies.
It does smell really good. I love the nose of the Old Fitz 10. Yeah, definitely more oily and layered. I'm getting more of that like sweet nutty, like almost like when you get at fair and you get those like you see those almonds, like those honey roasted almonds or honey roasted peanuts, whatever. That's kind of what I get off the taste of this.
For me, it's I think you said it, it's such a creamy mouthfeel.
Yeah.
And it's sweet, but it's got some of those, did you just say like nutty?
Yeah.
A little nutty, a little like, kind of like chocolate coffee type thing.
Yeah, I could see that like hazelnut coffee kind of deal going on.
And I'll say two things, interestingly, for whatever reason, probably because it has a more complex and more, powerful flavor. This actually, to me, if I was in a blind, I probably would have guessed this was a higher proof than the 8-year.
Interesting.
Even though I know they're the same proof, right? Bottle and bond. The second thing is, it's the mouthfeel and the flavor as well. It's not on the same level, but this reminds me much more of Parker's Heritage Collection.
Okay.
Of like the top tier Heaven Hill stuff than the 8-year. Now, like I said, it could open up. You never know. But from a opened up 10-year and a neck pour 8-year, 10 years a clear winner.
So here's the crazy part. MSRP on this is $129.99. MSRP on this is $144.99.
Wow. Okay.
$15 difference from this to that. To me, I mean, if you could find both of them on the shelf, I would gladly pay $15
better,
more.
Yeah. I mean, the way I put it is, if I pay up to $150 for the 8-year, I'd, $200 seems like an easy call for this one.
Which is what I think I paid $200 for this, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah. $200, maybe a little more, but then I start looking for other stuff. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, that was
all right.
fun.
Well, hopefully that helps you out, gives you some guidance on whether this is worth looking for, or if you see it, at like some crazy price. You see it in the case for $300. That's a pass.
Yep.
I wouldn't
jump ship.
I'd wait for a better release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. So with that being said, my name is Luke.
My name is Frank.
And please remember, whatever you do, at all costs, 100% of the time, stay in school.